Hi, I'm Dr. Porter and I'm a psychiatrist here at the couch. We are currently living in very strange and unprecedented times. And at the beginning of 2020, many said that this would be the year of 20 plenty. But 5 months in, and we find ourselves living through a global pandemic. So looking after our mental health is going to be of utmost importance to us at this time, not just for those of us who have had underlying mental health conditions, but even for those who have not suffered mental health concerns in the past. And here's why. With pandemics, there usually is three responses. There's a medical response, there's an economic response, and there's a psychological response. The medical and the economic response are usually addressed first. They're addressed swiftly, but the psychological response is often left for last. But the psychological response has lasting and far-reaching consequences and will remain long after we've flattened the curve, long after a vaccine has been discovered. And so it's vitally important that we look after our mental health because the psychological footprint of a pandemic far exceeds the medical footprint of the pandemic. Now, this is an unprecedented pandemic. And when we talk about unprecedented, it's unprecedented for various reasons. It's unprecedented because there is lots of fear and uncertainty. We don't know how long the virus will last for. We don't know what it's going to be like after. We have been inundated with information. It's information overload via the news, our regulations that are ever changing, fake news, differing medical messages. All of these definitely increase stress, they increase anxiety, they increase fear. Also, we have to begin to adjust to a new way of living with physical distancing, not being able to exercise when we would like to. And it's an overall change in the way that we know. And also, it's about finding our well-being in a chaotic context. And this is both a learning challenge, not just for some, but I think for all of us. It requires us to make sense of and respond to ever-changing contexts. It's a call to adaptively navigate. It also builds our capacity to stay present, centered, and grounded in fluid conditions. And it demands our willingness to experiment and remain creative and not prescriptive on what works for individuals. And I think that not just some of us have been affected, but we've all in some way been impacted by this pandemic that we find ourselves living through. So over the next few weeks, we at the couch would like to provide some nuggets in terms of how do we navigate these unprecedented times? How do we cope during this time, not just of the pandemic, but how do we cope through lockdown, a prolonged lockdown? And also just how do we cope with this new normal and this new way of being? So watch this space. It promises to be informative. And yes, thank you.